I'm going to talk about something that is quite personal, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. And just preface this with this is, of course, my side. Just one side of the story, but that's okay. This is my side. And I will say also that this will probably come out in a few different parts. But for anyone who is curious, I would like my side to be heard. And I'm going to be real, and I'm going to be raw, and I'm going to say it. Yeah, I'm going to go there. It is Monday, January 24th. I have a meeting in about half an hour. Phone meeting. I was late dropping off my kids this morning because I was up late last night trying to get my website sorted out from Grant Neate. He is hosting, I guess it's hosted through his hosting company, and I was trying to sort out transferring the hosting, and I'm not a techie nerd. I mean, sort of, but I don't know how to do that stuff. I did try Googling how to transfer hosting a website, and I didn't get very far. Anyway, so I tried to contact him nicely about it and just tried to say, hey, dude, I just need to get my website transferred over. Can we just, can you help me with that? Wouldn't respond to me, and then, he can't talk to me. So, and then he blocked me everywhere again, and, just very confusing. Apparently, I've been given a list of things of why this happened, but I have yet to have seen this list of why he suddenly hates me so much. I don't know why. So yeah, it was almost 4 weeks ago now that he blew up at me on a phone call, and literally lost it with me. I'm still trying to figure out what happened. So it's so confusing. But we'll get there. I'm going to talk about it. I am going to talk about it. Yeah, literally blew up at me on the phone. And then blocked me everywhere so that I couldn't talk to him, with no explanation of what the hell was going on. Yeah. So, blocked me, basically, yeah, this story is going to come out in several parts. But basically, he and I started being together in 2017. It's now 2022. Over the years, he had kept a friendship with his ex-wife, Teresa Neate. And she, I was okay with them, being in contact. I was okay with that. Like, whatever, they were married and stuff. And, but sometimes he would go over to her house and he would cat sit for her, or he would, like put together furniture or help her with something. He was like her go-to, guy for, helping her out with, stuff in the home, or, or sometimes they even, had lunch or dinner together or something like that. Meanwhile, I'm, in the US. Of course, he didn't do that when I was over there in Melbourne. There was one time, I think, when he was cat sitting for her, house sitting, whatever. But he didn't go hang out with her, obviously, like when I was there, during the times that I was there. But, this was kind of an issue. And I made it very clear in the beginning, hey, I'm not comfortable with that. Like, I don't mind you guys, having a, being in contact. You don't have to completely cut off from her. That's fine. But I'm not comfortable with you going to her house and hanging out and, stuff like that. So early on in, our relationship, he shared an app with me, called Life 360, and it's, he gave this to me as here you go, you can see my location and you can see where I've been and where I'm going and, whatever. And for me, he, initiated that with me. For me, it was more of just a sort of like a connection kind of a thing. It wasn't so much that it's not like I didn't trust him or anything like that. I didn't trust that it's not that I thought he was, doing anything. But anyway, so that app to me was more of just a connection thing. It was kind of like an intimate, connection, because I don't share my location with anybody really. And yeah, that I wouldn't share my location with just anybody. It's sort of that's a very private and personal thing, kind of a thing, right? It's you can see where they've been during the day. You can see where they are currently and stuff like that, right? So very early on, I never said I wasn't okay with him talking to her at all or anything like that. It wasn't like that. But I did make it known that there were a few times, this was probably over the course of the first couple of years, I guess. There were times when he'd go to her house or he'd go hang out with her, or, they'd something. And after a while, I let him know, hey, I'm not comfortable with that. you know, like, you gotta sort of like end off with her and just like, you know, let her know, like, it's me and you now, you know, we're together, you know, so like, I don't think you should be going and spending time with her. Which he seemed to accept at the time. And then one time when I was over in Melbourne, I found out that they were still connected on that app, like the sharing locations with each other. And I said, hey, wait a minute. I thought this was just a special thing that just you and I were sharing. So I asked him to, you know, hey, can you like stop that with her? And this was difficult for him, and he couldn't do it right away. And he said, oh yeah, I'll do that later. You know, I'll have to have a conversation with her about it. And we had already been together for like a couple years at that point. So I said, okay, well, you know, can you do that and let me know that you've done that? Like, that would be cool. So he told me that he would, and later he told me that he did, that he had disconnected with her on there. Anyway, much later, skip forward much later, in September of 2021, you know, the whole thing with the distance and stuff like that, it's a really difficult, rough thing, and I'll talk about that later, but it's pretty difficult. And it's difficult to describe, and it presents major difficulties in a relationship. So, you know, early on, he actually twice, we had made plans for him to come out to the US, and we had a whole plan. We had a whole, yeah, you know, and it was do or die, and we're going to do this, and it's going to happen, and da-da-da. And so twice that fell through. And I loved him very, very much. Anyway, I persisted, and, you know, I said, well, there's got to be a way. And I came up with a few ideas in my mind, but didn't. Anyway, just some ideas about how to make it work. So anyway, in September of 2021, we sat down and talked, and I recorded it. Yes, I did. You know why? Because we had been planning to have this discussion for like a week or so, for like about a week. And so we, you know, we were going to have this talk where we were going to lay out our ideas, and we're going to plan it all out, and we're going to agree to it, and we're going to stick to it, and we're, you know, and it was like a 2.5 hour conversation. And he laid out all of his ideas about having me come over to Melbourne for a few months or for a while. He initially was saying like, well, just move here, you know, like you're gonna need to, you know, sell your car and get rid of all your stuff, and you just move here, and, you know, like, I'll help you get on your feet financially, blah blah blah. I'll, you know, we'll do all this stuff together, and you know, but it's going to take some work, but we're going to do it. And anyway, so he presented all this to me and said, what do you think? You know, like, come out and move out here. So that was in September of last year, after we'd kind of still been, you know, talking every day, but like kind of going back and forth on like, what are we going to do? So, I, of course, really wanted to, be with him. And so I went along with it. You know, but obviously his major question was, you know, you got to sort out your relationship with your kids, and you got to figure that out. How long can you stay away from them, and how are you going to manage like seeing them and stuff like that. That was the thing. And that was the major thing in my mind as well. You know, like, what am I going to do about that? And so anyway, I had some plans about how to make it all work. Anyway, the long and short of it is that we had a plan, and we were like, okay, no, we're going to stick to this, and yada yada. We're going to make this work no matter what. And anyway, in the midst of all that, I asked him if he was following Teresa again. So like, I was like, so are you guys still connected on there? Or like, are you connected with her again? He said, oh, I don't know. I said, yes, you do. Of course you know. You know. So show me. So he was connected with her again. So somewhere along the line that they'd gotten connected up again, or maybe he never did disconnect with her after he told me that he had. I don't know. So I said, okay, well, you know how I feel about that. I need you to have a conversation with her and like say, hey, look, you know, like, I'm with Anne, and I'm not gonna, you know, we're not gonna be doing this anymore, and I'm not gonna be hanging out with you. And because he had scheduled to go help her build a table or something like that, that came up as well, that he had agreed to this to her. So he's going to go to her house and help her put together a desk, because she needed help with that. So I said, okay, look, fine, you go do that, but please have a conversation with her. Let her know that you're not going to be available for her like this anymore, and it's like, you know, disconnect from her, please, on this tracking app, please. I was very patient about it. Was really patient about it over the years. Anyway, so he went and built the desk and was there for a few hours and whatever. Anyway, so when I spoke with him after that, oh, first of all, he got really upset with me for talking to him about it. Like, he got upset about it, and he was just like, really, you know, and it's just like, well, how can you not understand? Like, that's just weird. Like, why would you be tracking each other on this thing? Anyway, this is getting long. I said this was going to come in multiple parts. Anyway, so he told me that he had that conversation with her, and that he wasn't going to be hanging out with her anymore, you know, not like her go-to person to, be her guy that she could just call up to help her out at home and help her do stuff and, come and hang out with me. Let's go hang out, that sort of thing. Right. So anyway, he told me he had that conversation with her later in December. Apparently they had been talking about getting together for Christmas. And he made a mention of her and that they had been planning this, or that this was going to happen or something. And I was like, wait a minute, but you told me that no matter who it came from, whether it came from you or her, like, you told me that you had a conversation with her about, like you guys are not going to be like, buddy hanging out and stuff like that. And yet here we are again. So I'm not comfortable with that, and I said, no, come on, like, what is this? So anyway, again, he got annoyed about it and upset, and but somehow we rode over it. And there's more to that story, but I'm gonna try to cut this short. Anyway, in December, I got the idea that maybe I could just talk to her and just say, like, hey, look, I respect you. I don't mean to come across disrespectful in any way. I just, like, I actually used to be friends with her, kind of like, I don't know, connected on Facebook or whatever, but that was like years and years ago. So yeah, I knew her when I was 16. That's another story, which I will get to. Yeah, I had the idea that, like, hey, maybe if I just talk to her, that, this wouldn't be such an issue. It wouldn't come up again. It wouldn't, sort of like drive us apart. Like, and additionally, if she and I were able to communicate, then, fine if there's nothing there, but like, at least we'd be able to, like, have a conversation, just be cool with each other, so it wouldn't be like this weird thing where he's hanging out with her and they're talking and have this like friendship or relationship behind my back kind of a thing, and it's just so weird and awkward, so I just thought, well, why not? I'll just reach out to her sometime soon. So I did. And I even told him about it ahead of time, that I was going to. And he didn't say, no, I don't want you to do that. Even though in the past he had told me, no, I don't want you to, you can't talk to her or whatever. Or she doesn't want to see you. She doesn't like you. So, yeah. That's when things blew up. And that's when he got really mad at me, like yelled at me on the phone and just went off at me. And in the midst of me trying to apologize to him for whatever I did that was so wrong, mind you, I was respectful with her. I wasn't mean. It was a long overdue conversation, pent up, like, just wanted to reach out and talk to her. And I was like, look, I'm willing to listen to your side, whatever it is. I just want to break the ice. Can we just talk? That was it. That was really it. And then, there's more to this story, but again, I'm trying to cut it short. He blew up at me on the phone, hung up on me, blocked me everywhere on the internet that you can possibly block anybody except for email, and wouldn't talk to me and just shut down. And there's more to this story, but I'm going to cut it short here, and I will explain more.